Hey, this is Shane Mason, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to practice solving a system of three equations. Now, two equations are pretty easy, but what happens when you throw a third one in there and you have three variables you need to solve for? Well, without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. All right, what we have here is a system of equations which includes three different variables. In this case, we have r, s, and t. We got to figure out what value would work for each one of those for all three equations. So what we have to do first is decide which variable we want to eliminate. So let's just go ahead and eliminate the t variable. And the only reason that I'm picking t is because I can see that the coefficients of 4, -2, and -4 are kind of related to each other. So it's just going to be easy to manipulate these into a situation where we can use cancellation. Now, we have decided to eliminate the t variable. You could have decided to eliminate the s's first or the r's first. You can really start any way that you want to. Now, once you have decided what variable that you are going to eliminate, you have to choose two of your three equations and set that up so we can eliminate that variable. So let's just start with these two right here. So I'm going to write 4r minus 4s plus 4t is equal to -4. And right below it, I'm going to write this equation, which is 4r plus s minus 2t is equal to 5. All right, now, after setting up your first two equations, what you have to do is make sure that the third one that you haven't even bothered to use yet is actually included. So we decided to do the first and the second one together. So we have to combine this third equation with one of these first two. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the first equation that we used, 4r minus 4s plus 4t is equal to -4. And I'm going to combine that with this third equation, which is -3r minus 3s minus 4t equals -16. So what you can only do is combine two of these three at a time, and you just have to make sure that each one of these equations is represented once. All right, so let's go ahead and eliminate our t variable in this set of equations and this set of equations. And what that's going to do is it's going to leave us with r and s, which we still can't solve for either one of those because you cannot solve for a variable unless that is the only variable in the equation. So after eliminating the t's, we're going to get two new equations, and then we're going to use those two new equations to eliminate either the r or the s, and then we can solve for the variable that we did not eliminate. All right, so let's take a look at this situation right here. We do not have anything that is opposite. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this -2 into a -4. And we do that by simply doubling everything. So if we distribute this 2 to every term in our equation, we know that once we multiply 2 times -2t, that is going to leave us with -4t, which is the opposite of +4t, thus creating a situation where we can eliminate. So let us go ahead and do that. So if we double 4r, that's going to give us 8r. If we double 1s, that gives us 2s, or +2s. And if we double -2t, that gives us -4t. And if we double +5, that gives us +10. All right, now what we're going to do is take these two equations here and combine them together. And notice that the t terms are going to be eliminated because they have a sum of 0. So let us go ahead and combine these r terms. We have 8r and 4r, and altogether that gives us 12r. And then we're going to combine 2s and -4s, which is -2s. And these t's cancel out. So let's combine these constants. 10 minus 4 gives us 6. All right, let's go ahead and combine these two equations, which is our first equation and our third equation. All right, now right off the bat, notice we have opposite t terms here. So they're going to be eliminated right away. And that's actually why I chose to combine the first equation with the third equation, because I noticed that we have opposite t terms right there. So we're going to go ahead and combine the r terms. 4r take away 3r is just r, or 1r. Negative 4s and negative 3s is a total of negative 7s. And the t's are eliminated, and we have to set that equal to negative 20, which is the sum of these two numbers. All right, so let's take this second equation we came up with and write it with this first equation we came up with. So now we have r minus 7s is equal to negative 20. All right, now what we have to do is we have to eliminate either the r term or the s term. So it's really just kind of a choice. Whatever you think is easier to eliminate, you just go ahead and do that. And I think in this case, it's going to be easier to eliminate the r term, because all we have to do is change this coefficient of 1 into the opposite of 12, which is negative 12. And the only thing I can multiply positive 1 by to make negative 12 would be negative 12. So we're going to multiply everything in this equation by negative 12. So negative 12 times 1r is negative 12r. Then we do negative 12 times negative 7s, which is positive 84s. And we multiply negative 12 by negative 20, which gives us positive 240. All right, now that we rewrote this equation, we're going to take this equation and just rewrite it under here, just so our eyes don't get confused. We want to make sure that everything's lined up nice and pretty. All right. And what we have to do now is, well, we can just eliminate these r terms, and then we're going to take 84s and subtract 2s, which is 82s. And 240 plus 6 is 246. Now what we have to do is divide both sides by 82, and that is going to give us the value of s. So these 82s cancel out to be 1, and that gives us s is equal to 3. If you divide 246 by 82, it is exactly equal to 3. So now we know what s is equal to. All right, once you have figured out what your first variable is equal to, what I want you to do is go to one of these two equations here after we eliminated our first one. Because if we plug 3 into s to either one of these equations, that is only going to leave us with one variable. And when all you have remaining is a single variable, you can easily solve for that variable. So let's just take this equation right here. 12r minus 2 times 3. We just substituted this s with 3 because now we know that s is equal to 3 and set that equal to 6. Now what we have to do is solve for r, and then we have the value of the r variable. So we have 12 times r minus 6 is equal to 6. We're going to take this constant of negative 6 and move it to the other side as positive 6. That gives us 12. And on this side we have 12 times r. Divide both sides by 12, and that gives us a value of r is equal to 1. So now we know the r variable and the s variable. All that remains is our t variable. So all we have to do now is just select any of our equations that have the letter t in it and plug in the values of s and r, which are at this point known. So let's go ahead and select, let's just select the second equation. It really doesn't matter which one you choose. So I'm going to take 4r plus s minus 2t equals 5. And I'm going to plug positive 1 in for r. We're going to plug 3 in for s. And we have to solve for t. So we have 4 times 1 is 4, plus 3 minus 2t equals 5. 4 plus 3 is, of course, 7. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this positive 7 and move it to the other side as negative 7 right away. So that leaves me with minus 2t is equal to 5 take away 7, which is negative 2. And if we divide both sides by negative 2, that ends up giving us t is equal to positive 1. Now, sometimes you may see your answer written like this. They take the variables in alphabetical order and write them inside parentheses. So our first variable would be r, so that solution is 1. The next variable alphabetically is s, so then it would be 3, and t is the last variable alphabetically, and that would give us 1. So the values of r, s, and t are 1, 3, and 1.
Hey, I just want to say thanks for checking out this math tutorial. Please don't forget to hit that subscription button and enable notifications so you can be informed as I upload new math tutorials to my math channel. Until next time, this is Shane Masonette with Masonette Math.